I am Juliana. I heard someone call me, so I have come to answer questions. I really do not have a message, except to say that I love this energy. Do you have questions for me?
Where are you from?
Starship. I am from the starship. It does not matter where I'm from, really. But I am from a starship.
Are you the same as Juliana?
Yes. Yes. Did you have a question?
Who requested?
It is not important who I am, really. What is the question?
Yes, who asked for her to come?
Are you around the Earth?
Yes.
Is this the mothership that you're on?
Yes.
The captain?
I am, yes, but there is others with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do take a leadership ability there, yes. And I do like to bring others into leadership training. And it is a lovely thing to be with these people. I know that this is a different form for me. It's a different atmosphere for me.
You're Arcturian?
Yes.
Oh.
And your role on the mothership is? The whole mothership, the whole starship?
I have many roles. And I do many things. And I feel that my greatest role is to bring stabilization to all different things. And I bring understanding where there is none. And I bring leadership where there is chaos. So I take apart the elements and put them back together.
Can you speak some of your language, please?
Yes.
Karia katani okoli kikio karia tukutsukua.
Kikawashata ratatapapora totu sititiakati.
Kia kalio kotanana kia kotokoto sakalio nakatiko kia la katanio kata.
Kakakoroto furdora.
Kario. Katule ni kiko kotoki ati kela kotoniki.
We are speaking about the fun things of the energy because there is a lightness in our words. The way that we speak we speak intention first before we speak what the message is. So therefore we cannot be misunderstood because our intention is spoken first. To say that what she said was, my intention is to greet you, so that I could not misunderstand when she said hello or whatever, in the tone of voice, whatever she would say, I understood it was a greeting. So what I said to her was, my intention is to tell you that I enjoy how you speak the language. And therefore, we had a small conversation, very light, but very friendly, with intention. With intention. What is it that you've learned about me?
Well, I believe there's a connection.
Yes.
So you recognize it.
Yes, I did.
Thank you. And I don't think you coming into a human body is very normal.
No, it isn't.
I don't think you ever have, probably.
I have.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I have, but it is not something I do normally. But I wanted to come today because there is an energy here that is of learning.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can teach something that is positive to someone, I feel it is worth coming.
Mm.
I take the elements apart and put them back together. So therefore, I take your elements apart and put them back together in a way that you can understand them. So if there's questions, I can take those elements and make them understandable. You see, where there is no information, then I can connect and make them into information. Is there questions out there?
Brian?
Yes, yes. Hello, my friend. This is Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Hello. Can you describe a little bit about who you are and how you are connected with Girk Fitneer or any of the others?
Girk Fitneer. It's a many-part question. And I have to take all the elements together, but I could take much time telling you the answer to this, but I will make it as short as possible. I am an Arcturian. I am on the ship. It has a name. You gave it a name. The people.
Of course, as humans, is
Yes.
the mothership.
It is the mothership, yes, but it is not Girk Fitneerian. The Girk Fitneerian Alliance is within themselves of 5 species. I myself am an ally, but not a part of the alliance. We have some differing understandings of how ascension should happen. And so therefore, we believe that it should happen exponentially, of course. But I believe that their interaction with the weather can be a little non-beneficial. Let me explain. I think that the weather should be as it is, and I don't think the timeline will not exist. I think that it will continue to exist, but there would be a lot more fatalities. However, that's the way it was meant to be. However, my purpose on the ship is to bring enlightenment, to bring peace and harmony to those that want to have it, to those that are reaching for it. I will help supply it in one way or another. I am also beneficial for the people in my ship. I am sharing leadership, although I am the leader. I share leadership with many. But they report to me in the sense that not to write anything, not to bring me anything, but just to communicate
Right.
what it is that we all should know.
My question is, because your alliance, you're kind of separate in a way, do you have the capability to bring humans to your ships?
We have that capability, but we see where you are in this particular realm and time period, and it is not appropriate for us to do so.
Okay.
We have the
Could you give a
strict rule.
projection? Yes. Could you give a projection on how far in the future of our timeline that may be possible? A probability.
There are different speculations about this because of things that happen. Let me give you an understanding of this. One moment. There was some communication I had to relay. But yes, there is different speculations on the time that you will be able to come site to site. And the reason is different things can happen in the meantime before those speculative times. Now there's 5 speculative times, and depending on the actions that come between that, we will know which one will happen. But they will be within a period of 2 to 4 years.
That soon? Wow. I kept thinking that it would be a good 15, 20 years.
It cannot wait that long.
That's what I was hoping for. I'm glad that it's not going to take forever. We're very, as species, as humans, we're very impatient at times. But I love your energy, my friend. It's a very uplifting frequency. Much love to you.
Much love to you. You see, it must happen sooner than 10 to 15 or 20 years. The reason why it must happen sooner is for the sake of ascension. The sake of ascension is so important.
Yes.
It takes so long for all the things of ascension to become awakened.
Yes.
There is not just 1 or 2 things that are part of ascension. It is many, many things that telepathy gives and takes and becomes. And it takes many, many of your Earth years for it to become what it should be.
So it's more of the DNA activating within us.
It is more the DNA activating, but it is more also the 4th dimensional energy not just being in the brain, not
Right.
just being in the body, but being in the spirit.
Yes, yes. It's almost like the spiritual, the manifested spiritual is kind of integrating with the physical more.
Exactly.
Ah, now I understand. It brings the spirit to the surface.
It
Yes.
brings the spirit to a new place. I wouldn't call it the surface,
Okay.
but a new place, a new understanding, and a
Yes.
new powerful energy.
It's a
The
very balanced
spirit,
energy. Yes.
the spirit, everyone always says, oh, it's love and light and all these wonderful, very light things, but the spirit is also many other things with depth and
Right.
with
Feeling.
sensibility, and
Yes.
will change the way you think, will
Right.
change the way you perceive, will change the way you go about your 3rd dimension without moving into a 4th dimension, will change your perception of 3rd dimension.
Right. I start to see a balance that comes with this. A great balance where the spirit's more at the forefront, then people realize they start to see the God within each other.
I like the way you said that.
Yes.
We drag the spirit along behind us sometimes.
It has
The
to be at the
spirit,
forefront for the balance.
there, you do not want to let your spirit move behind you, but come forth and move ahead of you
Yes.
and bring you along, not push you.
Right. Push and pull.
And that is the way spirit works on your planet sometimes. It pushes you into things. Yes, but now it will lead you into
Yes.
things.
It leads you into the moment when people get into
Yes.
the vulnerability where they can truly be
Ah,
their soul essence comes out. Do you see?
the nows, the nows, the nows. Yes.
Yes. The
They
moment.
are part of the now, which just barely is in the future.
Ah,
They are in the future. Your spirit is actually in the future.
I figured that. Yes.
Your spirit is in the future. Let it lead you to where it wants to go and not where you want to go, because it has a purpose that builds the
Might I
purpose
speak?
within you. You are purpose. But let's look at that in the eyes of the spirit. It looks different. It looks different because it is the future different, whereas you live in the now different.
Yes. Much love, my friend. I'll let another speak. Thank you.
It is so fun to talk to you because you understand.
And
Ah,
it was just as you were saying, to let the spirit lead. I often think of the spirit also as the soul as well.
yeah,
Um, and the way I see it is, the soul knows best, and it will often, as you say, push you and lead you into various things. And in my opinion, that should, it's a bit of a balance sort of thing, as it was said.
yes. It does not always lead with love, though. That is a
No,
fallacy
no.
that
There can be
sometimes people think.
Mhm.
It leads with purpose that is
Yes,
connected to love. It is connected with love. It's connected with positive, but it does not always push forward that way. It may not be observed as being a loving action, but it is a necessary action, because the soul knows its place in time, space, and responsibility.
it is as I always tell people, my friend. The soul always remembers. Life is not a process of discovery. Life is a process of creation.
Ah, it is well said, because there is much truth there. Your creativity is there for a purpose. It
Mm.
is not just to hang around and make you feel good about yourself. It is not just there for to show somebody, look what I did. No, it reaches beyond that. It
Yes.
connects with the world.
Yes. Yes.
Everyone should be
And that
connecting
is
with the
where the
world.
soul relates, because the soul already remembers everything there is to remember
Yes.
itself.
Behind the chakras, all the information of all your past lives, all the information of all your past lives behind your chakras. One chakra, if one chakra was more prominent in one life, then that one will carry that life. And if another chakra was more prominent, it will carry that life. You understand those can be brought out of you to help you in your present life, but not necessarily.
Mm.
Not necessarily going to happen.
Indeed.
But if you would like that kind of help, you can find it.
Indeed. Of course. Of course. Of course.
I'm kind of hearing you saying to have us let go of the free will just a little bit more, and so that we can be guided by spirit.
Well, you have to understand exactly what free will is. You can't let it go if you don't know what it is. Free will is everything that you are, really. It's even squeezing a pimple on your forehead. You can choose to squeeze it or you can choose not to. Not a big decision. However, it can be. What if it gets infected? Because you squeezed it. That's a different thing. A different outcome than just letting it heal on its own. And it would have gone away and you wouldn't have an infection and you wouldn't have to deal with it. So your free will interfered with the perfect healing process. That is just a small example of what free will is. Do you understand that? Now, free will is everything you do, taste, touch, do, want, experience, because you have free will to have a hamburger for lunch, or a drink of water, or a salad, or 100 different things. And you say, well, that's not important, but it is. Your health is important. So that hamburger might not be good for you, but the salad might be better. And that affects free will. Every small little detail of your life is free will. Everything. Everything you do. Do you think God sits up there and says, oh, let's see, for lunch today you're going to have this? No. God does not sit up there and say, oh, I think you should travel over here. No. You are the one that decides all these different things within you. Yes. So in order to understand free will is to understand that if you give it up, you don't do anything. So do not give up your free will, but let the Spirit speak to it. That's what I say. The Spirit is in the future just a tiny bit and knows what you should do, but you do not always listen to Spirit. How can you listen to Spirit 100% of the time? It is not something that you do. Because you are in third dimension, you are not in Spirit. However, there are moments that are critical to your forward motion. And that's when you should listen to the Spirit. You should stop before you move forward sometimes. The future can be dangerous even if it's a second ahead. You might walk into a door or wreck your car or do something unusual within the next second. Crucial things happen in the next second that the Spirit is ahead of. Have you ever avoided something that seemed very dangerous just by that 1 second ahead?
Yeah. Many times.
You think that's an accident?
No.
Spirit sees that second ahead and pulls you into now.
May I just mention something? Firstly, I want to say thank you so much for coming through. You are a blessed being, and we love you very much. And I would like to know if, succinctly on this topic, would you call this the power being in the present and the use of personal responsibility and personal growth?
Would you really repeat that, dear? I did not quite understand that.
Certainly. Yes. I'm wondering if you would reference what you're discussing right now as being something called personal responsibility.
Oh, it is part of it, yes. Very much a part of personal responsibility, because you are making the decisions for yourself. And if you bring Spirit into the part of that decision, then that is part, you are working together.
Yes.
You can work apart or you can work together.
Yes.
Spirit does not work separately from you unless it is to save you.
Yes, I understand. Thank you very much.
Yes, I understand your question very good. Yes, because the responsibility for each of us lies on each of us. We cannot say, I am sorry, but it's your fault that I did this. It is not possible for them to reach into you and make you do something that you cannot do. If it is within you to do it, and you have done it, it is your responsibility to say that you have done it. Now, you can say that you were influenced by something else, but still that influence is not to blame necessarily. It's how you accepted the influence. It's your responsibility. If you accepted that influence as an influence in you, then you are still responsible. If it resonated with you to do such a thing, then you have done it.
Yes, yes. It's almost like it always comes back to self. It's the most powerful place to be is always in the moment, it seems like.
Thank you.
Because you're taking command of who you are.
Yes. Thank you for calling me here today.
Can I ask another question?
Certainly.
Different topic. In your natural form, what dimension?
We're fourth. Yes, we're
four.
Well, everyone has a different understanding of what dimensions are.
Or density.
Yes, it's a density. Some people call it fifth, some people call it fourth, some people call it sixth. The thing is, we all need to get on the same page about that. We all need to get on the same thought pattern about what the densities are. Everybody calls them different things, and with one person I'm in the fifth dimension, with another person I'm in the fourth dimension, with another person I'm in the eighth dimension, you know. But the thing is, it's not really that important what dimension I'm in. What is important is the message that comes across can be related to in the third dimension. So what my lightness or density is, it won't make any difference to you if I'm a wisp of air or a solid monster that has 3 eyes. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the truth, the lightness, the love, the information. Those are the things that matter. The growth of your species into a new evolution of understanding. That is what's important.
Your natural form is...
Actually, if I explained what I look like, I'm sort of orangey. I'm not real tall. There are some portions of our species that have small little horns, but not I. Don't have those. But I'm female, so some of the males used to have small little horns in the past, but not anymore. I'm bipedal, pedal, whatever word you want to use, pedal, not sure. But I'm not real pretty in your eyes, but I'm pretty to those that think I'm pretty.
Well, you have a pretty voice.
I have a pretty voice? Oh,
what about your facial features? Like,
I have a big mouth. So, in so many ways. But just a little bit of Arcturian humor there. But I do have a rather large mouth, yes. And our eyes are smaller because we do come from a bright, there's much light on our planet, so the eyes do not need to be as large. They take in a much light, and so our eyes are smaller than say those of Yahyel, who have large eyes because they're from a dim planet, or yours from you have moderate-sized eyes from a moderately sized sun. So the sun has a lot to do with how big your eyes are. So, of course, makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
Just that's all there is to it. And we do not have a nose to speak of. There is one little hole, but it is protected. If we want to smell someone or something, we have to actually get close to it. The olfactory portion of our, what do you call it? Evolution, because there is no unclean chemicals in the air for such a long time, it was not necessary for us to be able to smell poison or whatever on our planets because the air is so clear and clean. However, that's a bad thing whenever you go off-world because the air is not so clear and clean and you have to use sensors and make it clean, sensors and technology to clean the air in front of you so that you can move. See, actually, when we don't have helmets or things, we actually have a system that cleans the air directly in front of you and keeps it constantly clean. So therefore, we don't have to have any kind of other technology other than the air cleansing that comes with us moving to other worlds or whatever, if we can actually be in contact with it. So we can cleanse the air very easily with our little devices. But that is why we have no nose to speak of.
Is it not that you're gray, but is it the look that's kind of like a gray where you have the upside down triangle?
Yes, it's
short.
Yes, that's very good.
You don't really walk. There's kind of a floating feeling.
It's bipedal, though. Yeah. Yes, we can float sometimes. It's more of an orangey gray.
Yeah.
Orangey.
The structure itself.
Yeah, the structure itself is sort of unusual. Yes, you would say upside down triangle maybe, but yes, but we do have we have legs and feet as well. So.
But you don't need your body.
We don't. It's yes, we need it, but I understand what you're saying. Yes, we do. We can move in other ways. Yes, we do need it though for some things. Yes.
You're connected to Juliana. Are you now speaking as the feminine versus the male? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Can we bring Juliana in?
If he wants to come.
Just wondering.
He doesn't really want to come, but he said you're doing fine as you are, so he said maybe next time.
Thank you.
But yes, I'm Juliana.
Are you part of a federation?
We are not.
So,
is it only Arcturians?
One at a time.
Sorry.
Is it only Arcturians, or is it?
Well, I would say that on this ship, it is 90% Arcturians. There are a couple other species that we have with us. Pets. There are a few pets from other species. And there are a couple other travelers with us. We're taking them to their homeland. We're being used as a transport for a couple of other different species, but they are not part of the ship membership. But they are friends.
It's a large ship, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is a very large. Yes, very.
Like a biosphere.
Yes.
And do you spend most of the time there, or do you actually go back to the planet?
Well, we can transport back and forth. Yes. I can go back to planet. We just call it planet. We can go back to planet and visit family or friends or whatever. Yes, we often do. We often have our times where we meet our freedom and space as well. I mean, there is work and there is density and there is dimension and there is planet and there's family and we are part of it all. Yes.
In
Ah. Oh, one of about human years.
Human years.
Uh, uh, Close to 100.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh.
Yes. We live a long time, but I'm only about 100.
Juliana is as well, only 100, couldn't be.
He's a little older. Yes. He's a little older by at least 50 years. And your time.
That's it?
Well, we'll see. I have to figure it out. Maybe I'm incorrect.
Yeah.
What was the question here?
Yes, in terms of this is Sabrina. In
Sabrina!
terms of in terms of Earth ascension, how are you helping us?
Well, here I am.
I know. I know. I sort of asked the obvious.
No, but there is other ways. You are correct. I understand your question. We are working with other different. We work with Girk Fitneer, and we counsel those people that do this sort of thing, and we counsel those that are interactive with the earth. And so sometimes we give them advice that we feel is pertinent because we feel sometimes they overstep their boundaries.
Okay, and in terms of that, there seem to have been sent a wave of negative energy recently.
Oh, yes, I saw that. Actually, it's happened many times in the past year for your higher dimensional people, higher fourth dimensional activation people. There's been a wave here and there of very negative energy causing great emotional stress at times. Some of you know how to fight it off and others of you do not. You see, the way to fight it off is to pretty much ignore it at first. But it's hard to do because it is so strong. This last wave that hit the East Coast was very strong. And some people were left unable, what's the word? Disabled.
Yes.
Physically or emotionally?
So
emotionally. And which caused physical as well.
So
but some people that have reached beyond the fourth dimension into some fifth dimensional realms were sort of protected because the fifth dimension couldn't be touched, but the fourth dimension could. And so could the third, of course.
So how do we protect ourselves if we don't know that that's what's happening?
Well, we're trying to protect you. You cannot protect yourself, really. We have to protect you on this level. When it's that high, there's not much you can do to protect yourself. We must help you protect. And we send as much energy right afterwards as possible for those to recover quickly. But it is not much you can do, really.
It's my understanding that
yeah,
you're
because
not
it was
much involved with the Pleiadians and all that are fighting,
No.
Your job is the ascension of
yes.
the consciousness and the corridors. And the
yes, and we take care of stargates and portals and that sort of thing. Yes, we have people on Earth that do that for us as well. We do have messages through different species that give people the awareness of where portals are and to activate them or charge them or do different things of that nature. But not the fighting. No, we do not do any of the fighting. That is not something that resonates with us at all. We do not resonate with conflict of that nature. We do resonate with conflict of the spirit and the body and things of that nature because it is a growth process. Some conflicts can be growth process oriented. However, conflict of a warlike nature is not growth process oriented at all. Just the opposite, in fact, most of the cases.
But the wars are being fought now.
Yes.
Between the Dracos and all that wonderful stuff in the solar system.
There are many things, there are many wars in many different dimensions. It's amazing I'm sure it's amazing to you in third dimension that there are wars in other dimensions. But it is because each of us, every single spark soul, is different and has a different purpose. And if that purpose goes astray, it can be fighting with itself, which causes it to start fighting with others, which causes others to fight back because it causes the conflict. It's just like the ascension. It's a wave of uplifting. There can be a wave of down. If you can connect with the wave, it can affect you. So, but your decisions, your responsibility is to try to avoid that, of course, but it's not always easy. It is not always
just because you're in a higher dimension, it doesn't mean that there are no wars.
If there was nothing negative in any other dimensions, being in another dimension would have no meaning.
Do all universes have that?
Of course. You must be able to appreciate what life, otherwise it becomes meaningless.
May I speak?
Sure.
From what I've learned, and from what I'm continuing to learn, there can be no light without a dark. And there can be no dark without light.
Yes.
And it is something I have always aspired to follow. See, I walk a very, very middle path, if you will. I seek to bring balance in accepting both points of view, because really there are both points of view in each and everything we go through.
Yes. Like just as I've said about the soul, it's not all love and light. It's not all positive energy. There's part of it that the only way it can exist has some dark energy in it.
So it's all about being shown
the universe together. Dark energy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Dark energy holds the universe together.
Absolutely, and what I've been taught is, and like I said, most of the information I've been taught is from, I consider it from source itself, but of course there are many forms of source.
Yes.
But what I have been taught is that, there is what is called the realm of the relative, the realm where there is good, there is evil, there's love, there is fear, and all of these things. And I believe that goes for all sorts of the dimensions. Is that correct?
Yes. For it to exist, it has to be polarized in some way to hold it together. Does that make sense to you?
Indeed, yes.
Then we don't exist anymore? Is that what you're saying?
You exist only in.
Only in, no.
You exist.
You exist.
That's enough.
That's enough.
Okay, so when we're at the all, there is no more of the duality.
There is. It's a place where you are totally at peace, but you don't have to stay there. But you go there to be totally at peace. And when you leave there, you take that essence with you, and it's like radiation. It slowly dissipates throughout the universe. Do you understand that?
Absolutely.
She asks, if you were at source, would you cease to exist? And the answer is no. at Source, you become who you are fully in Source. You become totally at rest and at peace, but you do not have to stay there. You can move away, and as you move away, that peace slowly moves out through the universe with you. It dissipates like radiation from you, but it does not mean that you're not still at peace.
So you go back into duality, right?
You can go back into duality, yes.
So can the soul feel all the different energies, emotions, like we do?
Yes, of course.
So it's capable of feeling hatred also?
Of course, because it has to understand what it creates and what is created by the things it creates. It has to understand that. So yes, of course, it has to feel everything and know everything that it is to know, so that it can understand what it has created and what its creations have created. Because his creations or her creations or its creations, however you want to say sources, has created other things that were not created by Source, but were given the capability to be created by Source.
Juliana, if we wish to receive energy from you and from the Arcturian collective, what would be the best way of doing this or going about this?
Speak Arcturian. Oh, see, you're finishing each other's sentences now. It's a wonderful thing. But anyway, yes, no, actually, just call upon us. Just call Juliana. I have a sensor on the Earth. We all do. There are so many sensors on the Earth right now. You would think that you would feel like you're being probed constantly, but it does not work that way, I guess. But, not that kind of probe here. But
I know.
But the thing is, there are many probes coming to the Earth, and you cannot feel them or sense them, but your governments know that they are there, and they are constantly coming, and it makes them a little bit edgy, but they're learning to live with it.
Are you working with any of the leaders, whether it's Russia, America, in the South? You and Juliana specifically, and what country would that be?
We are not working specifically with one entity on Earth, with one particular area of the Earth, but we do pop in and send messages to certain people at times. And the messages that we send are very peaceful, but very informative in the sense that we'll tell them that what they should not do sometimes and why, but it's up to them to understand why we sent it.
So you stay in the background more, much like Putin would be given information from other groups of aliens, and,
yes.
So you're more the background. You're really
well,
to the outer reaches.
It's hard for me to answer that question because yes and no. We are in the background, yes. We're not in the background, yes. But I can't elaborate on that without giving away some things that you are not to be known at this time, because we promised that we would not elaborate on certain things. So we are in the foreground, yes, and we are in the background, yes.
Is there a great influence with you with JFK?
JFK. Oh. He was taken for a reason, yes.
Yeah. No, I mean during his presidency, it was communication.
We communicated with almost every president.
Okay, not more so.
We communicated with some more than others. Okay. I can give you that.
Did Jesus have Arcturian in him?
I think I understood that question correctly. He has a little bit of everything in him at this point.
Who's that?
Jesus
Oh.
has a little bit of everything in him at this time. When he was on your earth, he had not a little bit of everything in him at that time, but he had more source in him than normal, which gave him a little bit of everything. Let's put it that way.
Juliana, this is Rowie. I have a question. Since the Arcturian race has been around for such a long time, what would be yours, or maybe give an example of your favorite or most cherished moment of the creation of humanity on Earth?
My favorite moment. That is a hard one because there are many favorite moments. I have many favorite moments. I have many favorite moments. To see the enlightenment, the first enlightened human was one of my greatest moments because they took things to a different level and people respected that. And they began to understand that beating people over the head and killing animals for just sport was not necessarily something that they wanted to do, and the reasons why, and brought that slight spark of evolution to their people around them. Another part of the things that I really enjoyed about Earth was seeing it in its very early foliage stages where there was very little there but some growth and plants, and the air was thin, and there was just a sea of molecules and protozoa, and it was very inspiring. It was like watching a moving painting. Do you understand that? It was like watching a moving painting. The different colors would mesh and move and be malleable and
Coordinating and harmony.
it just was a wonderful thing. I wanted to just jump in. But of course that was not possible.
Oh, many blessings for sharing that. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Sharon?
Yes.
Sharon, do you want to ask a question?
I will. Thank you, Sabrina. Hello, Juliana. I call my name Sharon. I call myself Sharon.
Hi.
Sorry.
And
hi, right?
I understand that you said that you can help with energy, realigning energies. And I was explaining to someone earlier that I'm feeling really chaotic today. I have a lot of decisions coming up, and I'm sure that everybody has their own. I was hoping you could send out some energy for realignment or inspiration.
Let me tell you this, dear. You see, confusion is chaos. The same as chaos is confusion. Confusion and chaos are very similar. Chaos is actually a little more dense and moves a little faster. However, in the mind, confusion is moving back and forth between different things and different understandings. Let me tell you how to do that. You take these different things and you write them down. They're all separated. Separate them. Separate them. Separate them. Separate all those thoughts. Put them on a piece of paper, whatever you want, on a piece of computer, whatever it is that you do. Separate all those thoughts. And then you can see them, and you know what? You've taken chaos and you've put it in a straight line. And now when you look at the straight line, you can do a resonation on each one of them. Each one of those separate thoughts has its own resonation. You do not look happy with that. But the understanding is not all resonations that are unhappy are the wrong resonations. But you will resonate what they are. You will resonate if they are the right choice, even if you do not like it. And I see that there is a choice that you really do not like, but you think that you are going to have to take. Is that not right? There's a choice. Yes. There's a resonation that is like, oh, what is the word? Shit. Oh, is that the word?
Oh boy.
I understand the word has many meanings. So, yes, okay. But anyway, oh, manure, yes. Or dung heap, or whatever it is. It may not be pleasant. It may not be pleasant. But the outcome eventually will be for the right, the good, the thing that will be what you are shooting for, what you are wanting to go. Sometimes to get to the other side of the lake, you have to swim it.
Or you can get a boat.
If you know how to build a boat. You either build a boat and go across it, or you swim it, or you walk across if it's shallow. But sometimes going across looks daunting, looks like not the kind of thing that you want to do right now, fearful. But yet over there, there's the coconut trees and the pineapples and everything that will be helpful. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you so much.
I love you very much, and I understand what you're going through. The choices, but do me a favor and do separate those choices. And look at them singularly, because right now they're just jumbled up together. They're like they're separate, but they're still connected. You have to separate them. Prioritize. Prioritize. Is that the word? Yes.
Yes.
All right. I must go now. It was interesting to be with you. I enjoyed it. Did someone else have something to say?
Yes, I had something. Hello.
Yes?
Hi. First off, I wanted to send my love to you. And
thank you.
I had a question. What world?
What?
Did that come through?
It did not come through. Your voice ceased and then started.
My question is, what are the females like on your world?
Well, understanding who you are, which I do, we would probably be cumbersome mates. We would not fit together well. You would probably have to turn me in my head. We are of a triangular shape, but the greater part of the triangle is on top. So I'm trying to send you a little bit of an image. Yes. But, yes, you are definitely much more well-formed in some ways.
Are you slender?
Not really. The top part is not slender. The bottom part is more slender. it's interesting. We keep a lot of biological things on the top part, so it's safe. We can control how that is moved. But on the bottom part, we're not so much safe because if we float at times and move, we do not always use the legs, so they're not as strong as yours.
I would love to see an Arcturian.
Yes, well, perhaps for you it would be comic relief and others very frightening.
No.
No.
Well, of course. Well, I will say this for, you know, I'm totally blind, so really it wouldn't really matter to me. So.
Yeah. But you see, in your spirit form, you may be able to see because the spirit is sometimes perfect. Unless there's a reason for you to not be able to see in spirit, you should be able to.
Well, see, I was in this life, I was born with a disease called septo-optic dysplasia. In the physical body is where the optic nerve is not entirely as developed as it should be. And so, yes. And so that's why I am totally blind in this life. So yes, the spiritual eyes are indeed enhanced, as well as the hearing and the sense of smell and taste and whatnot.
Ooh, that's an interesting thing. I could have a very interesting conversation about all the other senses with you. But
Indeed. Indeed.
Could he see in the astral if he went?
that is what I'm saying. There is a possibility that is a correction that would be made by the astral body, since that is something of a human defect.
Yes, it is. It's just the only problem is I have a hard time astral projecting consciously, but learning in the process of doing
It's all right. Your time will come. Your time will come. I have no question of that. I feel that your other senses have been amplified. Is that a good word? Amplified.
Yes.
And that your sense of understanding, even your brain amplification, has been quite unique.
Yes, it is. Very.
Yes. Your uniqueness in brain function is lovely. I love it. It is actually advanced. So that is a nice thing. Yes.
Well, I don't know. I mean, all of my life, this life, well, of course, my human mother's always told me I've had a photographic memory, but I never really took much heed into it. It came very, very natural to me. And, you know, I never quite, I never boast about anything about myself. But yes, I've done a lot of things that have had to do with the brain, you know, worked with computers all my life, this life, I've worked with everything. So yes. Anyway.
Yes, I see that work that has been done. Also, that there has been some things that have been enhanced because others have helped you a little bit. But that is a wonderful thing. I love that.
Yes, indeed.
Very good. I must go now. I said that already before.
Thank you for coming.
Say. You are very welcome. I'm having a good time, but I need to go run the ship. So
okay.
They're calling me back saying, you said you were coming back. Where are you? Ha ha ha. So
do you know 𝗪𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 Do you know 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗧?
Yes.
Oh, can you say hello to her for me?
Wait, one moment. Kita-ka-ta-ta. It has been done.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful day. Yes.
Oh, no, yeah.
Much love.
Much love.
Blessings, Juliana. Thank you so much. That
Thank
was
you.
such a wonderful experience and much awaited.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juliana.
Connections. Connections. Yes. Also connections.